had in the past, you know, with everything going up, the price of gas, everything, jail expense. But we do have a balanced budget. And like I said, this is a proposed budget. We feel good about it, and we'll know more, of course, when the numbers come in, when we see how many appeals that's been filed and all. But I'll start, you know, I'll turn this thing to Don. Don he's got some words to say, I'm sure, but is there anyone here tonight that's got any questions about their budget, about, any numbers, anything, I mean, that that you've seen that might not be right, that maybe you haven't talked to Don about, or myself, or Becca? Yeah, come on in. We just cut yours about 20% for being late. Fair enough. Yeah. But Don, you want to go ahead and go over a few items you've got there, or whatever, you know?
At the back of the room, we do have a copy of the budget that's proposed, and this is the narrative budget that we advertised a week or so ago. And so the total budget proposed for this year is $13,415,000. That is an increase from the current year's budget. I keep saying last year's budget, but when we talk about next year, that's actually right now, it's about to expire June 30th. And that was $13,144,000.
Yep.
Right. And that was a actual 2.06% increase over last year's budget. In a time that inflation, has been out of control, not only, well, mostly in the country, I mean, but here in Dade County as well. We have seen everything go up, from mostly fuel, of course. As we all know, fuel has doubled and some almost on its way to tripling in some respects. Then we have grant expenses. Health insurance this year did go up 12.6%. We did our best to try to maintain that at zero, but it is what it is. It did go up 12.6 along with everything else. So we did not pass any of that on to the employees this year. We saw the vehicle repairs increase, and mostly that was in the sheriff's office. And the reason it was is because we can't get new cars. It's been hard to find vehicles anywhere in the last 24 months. So we're still using some vehicles that are approaching that, the limits of mileage that we're not supposed to over insurance. So, because once they hit a certain mileage, we're not supposed to use it as a pursuit vehicle, according to our insurance company. But we have to maintain the fleet. So there have been some accidents and incidents over the past 12 months. We've tried to fix those cars as best we can. And because of those corrections and fixes, that it did go up a little bit for vehicle repair. Property insurance did increase 22% over 2022, and that's a big increase, but again, it mostly due to inflation. We had an actual reevaluation this year for that purpose, and still 22% increase is what came back. We use ACCG, called ACCG IRMA, which is a self-insured program. And we have tried to outsource that before, and we just can't seem to get a lower rate than ACCG because it's self-insured. Inmate food we saw an increase of $25,000, which I'll leave some of this information for the jail and different folks to talk about. Let's see, the district attorney is showing a little bit of an increase, what's proposed, and he can explain that. General supplies are up, and then of course election expense. We're in a year where we have a governor's election, so it will be up this fall that we have to accommodate for. And just like we saw at 5 o'clock, we had to take down an election. Sometimes runoffs happen, and then you also at times even have federal runoffs And that's in addition to any election where you have to fulfill an unexpired term of someone maybe that has left that position in state government or federal government. So those things happen. So we have seen an increase there. We have saw a little bit of increase on our water and radio repairs, and telephone is up, but the good news on telephone is, based on a piece of equipment that Alex Case has purchased for us, we're probably going to see that one decrease in the long run. And so over the period in 2023, we are looking at a $13,415,000 budget. In 2022, we did have a budget without the shelters. Now remember, we had the shelters that we put in the current year's budget, early on, but it was budgeted. And that was $12,346,000. So that's without the shelters. With the shelters, it was the current budget, which is $13,144,000. So even without that, that is an 8.65% increase. Inflation is right at between 8.5 and 8.7%. So, 8.65 is still right on target with what's going on in the nation. But year-to-year budget, current year compared to next year, is really only a 2.06% percent increase over last year's budget. We know that, our employees have got needs as well. Rent's up, food is more expensive, their fuel is up, so we have proposed a 7% increase for a cost of living allowance for 2023. And state government employees did receive a $5,000 raise, each individual. We have always given state COLAs in the past. We just didn't feel like at this time we could do $5,000 per employee. And you think that 7% sounds like a really big increase, but let me say this. If you make $15 an hour, you're only looking at about, $3,200 increase. That's before taxes. So, do the math. It sounds like a big increase, but it's not that big of an increase. So anyway, that is the summary of what we're looking at. And we do have several different people here. I don't know if you want to just have them.
Well, the thing about it is, what he just said is we've worked on this, and we're looking at no millage rate increase. That's the big deal. That's a big deal. That's what to our taxpayers. It's, we went round and round, and they've shuffled figures. Becca, she's don't even have any hide left on her fingers, I don't think, because she's went through all this, and that's a good thing. Because I was really worried a month or so ago, the way things were going, that I didn't know. I just did, and I worry every year during this time, and have for years, and it's just not a good feeling. The whole 90 days or 6 months of this whole process, but we've the way it looks right now, and of course it's a preliminary, but the numbers, we feel good about it. We feel good that we'll have some growth, and so that's good. I mean, a lot of counties are not right now not in the same boat we are right now. There's some of these counties in our region that's going to have some pretty drastic millage rate increases, it looks like. So, open the floor. Y'all, if you got anything to comment, anything, I've already said this once. If you got anything, anybody, we've got a few people here from the public. Anybody got any questions to any of our elected officials? Or these are the people we voted in office. Go ahead.
You want me to go up there?
Yep, come on up there.
Does it work? Just a couple of process questions. Can you tell me what the date the commission established for Dawn to submit the proposed budget to the commission?
As far as
Yes.
this, it's in the schedule, right?
Today.
Yeah.
Pardon me?
Today.
Today.
Today is the day that we discussed it. For 7 days now, we'll have a time of questions. If anybody has.
Well, I understand that. What I'm saying is that I was asking prior, when did the commission say, Dawn, have us the budget?
We reviewed it at last commission
Last
meeting. We
commission
talked
meeting.
about the total.
You're not answering my question.
I said today.
Okay. All
Yes.
right. Thank you very much
Okay.
for that clarification. So is the budget now available for the public?
You're talking about after today, it'll actually be,
On the day the proposed budget is presented to the commission, is to be made available to the public.
after
Then
So
today.
you're calling that the budget?
This
Is
is
that
the
the
budget.
only document that the commission has received?
As of before 5 o'clock tonight, it is.
Yes.
Only one I've received.
Yep, that's right.
Now, we've been going over the budget with different people. That's what we're here tonight to talk about. with the
I'm
different
asking
people, not
questions
for the
pertinent to
last
the
60
Georgia
days.
code.
Read it.
Let's see here. By the date established by each governing authority in such a manner as form as may be necessary to effect this article and consistent with the local government's accounting system, the budget officer shall prepare a proposed budget for the local government for the ensuing budget period. My question was, did you establish that date? How did you establish it? Was it a verbal? Was it written? Is there documentation of that?
To answer that, we published that back in March. I believe it was March that I put it in your packet. And
Yes.
we've discussed it at every meeting since March.
You established what in
The
March?
schedule,
The schedule.
And that said that you would present that to them on the day of this meeting,
absolutely.
at
Yes.
the last minute.
It's not the
for
last
public
minute. We have
comment
7 days
when
till
no
we
one gets
vote
a
on it.
chance.
Oh, the next week when you'll have
Yeah, it's
some
not in-
comments.
I understand that.
No,
I
okay,
do
good.
understand that.
I'm glad.
That we got a whole week here, but you have your initial meeting, people show up, and they don't have the reference materials to speak intelligently about it or ask questions.
Well,
Are you saying though that we're violating the law?
No, I was asking for clarification to
Okay.
make sure we were.
Yeah, yeah. Because if you are, you need to file charges, I guess,
I
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah,
I absolutely understand that.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing. Because it does go on to say on the day that the proposed budget is submitted to the government authority for consideration, a copy of the budget shall be placed in a public location which is convenient to the residents of the unit of local government. Have we met that?
It is on our website.
Okay.
Is it not,
That
Gary?
may be true.
Gary, is it on our website?
Okay, because we.
So is that public?
We
tonight?
checked right before we came in, didn't see it. If it's there, great. Appreciate that.
As soon as the commission received that budget, it went live on our website, but not until the commission received it as a whole.
I understand. Since we didn't find it, I was asking the question.
Yes, there is a link, in fact, we can show you, for it, pull that up.
Pardon me?
Here's a link, let us show you where that is on the website, and go ahead and show us the homepage. So this is the homepage of Dade County, Georgia. If you go under the government tab at the very top, and then under financial, there's a whole tab now for financial budget FY2023. And there is the budget overview.
Yeah, can you tell me what time that was uploaded? You said right before you gave it to them or right after?
Right after. the
Okay,
commission
that's fair. That's fair. I appreciate the clarification.
I would like to make a small comment too. This process takes a long time.
I
And
don't doubt that.
there's talks and there's meetings and there's time before today to also, this budget comes out to us like was said, but there's talks and meetings and discussions, and there's plenty of time for public to call commissioners, talk to managers, and talk to any of those people if you had thoughts or,
Yeah, I absolutely do not disagree with you on that. fact.
Yeah.
My point is, if I don't have the information, I don't know what I'm talking to. I could be up here asking dumb questions like, did you post it? Because I couldn't see it before we walked into this meeting. If it had been made available earlier, I wouldn't be here. People could come in, review it, already have reviewed it, and ask good questions. That's my point. Informed citizenry, involved in the government, knowledgeable, having the information available to them. I'm sorry if I've wasted your time, but I hope my point is still taken.
Okay, now I have a question on this matter, which me and Susie talked earlier about it, and like I said, just got it. But we've been working on it for months. Now, you've got 7 days to take it home. We have another meeting that you can come to ask them informed questions if you want. We're not voting on anything tonight. This is to get it out to the public.
And
So you
there's
think you need 7 days earlier? So, I mean, how much time do you think you need to get it before this? I mean, that's what I'm not being smart. I just
I
want to know.
understand. Yeah, that's a
How
very,
many days do
very
you need
valid
it before
point.
we get it, or before this meeting, would it be beneficial to you?
Well, so that's a good question. It's tough for me to answer that question on a personal level because I'm out of town next week, right? So my situation's different. It's not like everybody here,
Right.
but I do lose that opportunity. How far in advance? I don't know. I would think if I was going into a meeting to discuss the budget, as a commissioner, I'd like to have the actual budget in front of me at least 24 hours in advance, so I could read it, answer questions. That's just my thoughts. That's how I operate.
We're giving
But my
it to them
question
for
was
Well,
not
we
about
have-
me.
yeah, we have
Because
7
we've been
days.
dealing with this for months. My question is, how soon does the public need it?
Like,
I cannot answer for the entire population of this county. I gave you the answer for me.
If you was a commissioner.
Okay, let me rephrase it. I would have liked to have seen it 24 hours in advance.
Thank you.
And we had this out a week ago.
That-
And not one person has commented or asked one question from the public. Has anyone asked y'all any
Oh,
questions?
I'm going to
about this?
disagree with that because I know my wife has asked for the budget.
Not
That
prior
is
to-
not the budget,
Not prior to
Don.
1 o'clock today, she did not.
Excuse me, I sent a text out to every single.
And that's what this is the budget. It is a summary, that's,
Oh, come on.
Information that you chose to give us.
that,
Look, all we're requesting is an opportunity to review the budget prior to the hearing so that we can come and ask informed questions. That's all. Otherwise, this is kind of a waste of my time. I can't speak to the subject matter tonight. It's just a request.
okay.
Thank you.
Any other
Yeah,
questions?
just tell everyone who you are. I mean,
My name's John Talbot.
Yep,
I live here in Dade County.
good.
What else?
So you're saying, for you, and you alone, 24 hours before this meeting for the citizens to get it, that would suffice.
Yeah, I think that would
plus
give
the
me enough.
7 days, plus the
Plus- yeah,
7
plus the
days
7
till the
days.
next hearing.
That way I can hand it to them.
Yes,
Okay, okay.
yeah, I think that would give me sufficient amount of time to be more familiar
Okay.
with the details of our budget as opposed to an overview.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else want to come up? Y'all welcome now, any of the commissioners commissioners, any of our elected officials.
All right, I'm Rodney Ross, Fire Chief out at New Salem, and I also represent the other 6 departments in our county. And yes, this information is not coming out till right now because we just decided on this, so it won't be in any of the paperwork anybody's got out. Just want to make that clear. What we would like to ask of commissioners, if we could get our monthly amount that we get increased to $3,000. Reason being is everybody else is battling operating cost. We're hit with it pretty hard. Also, we want to try to do something with volunteers, because you can't get volunteers anymore. And I don't know that everybody knows, but we just went through ISO inspection, and that's one of the things that they look at is the amount of people you have. They want to see 4 people going out to every fire. Well, first of all, you got to have people to do that. The county cannot afford to pay every fire department in this county. We know that because you're gonna get up into millions of dollars. Taxpayers don't need to have to be burdened with that right now. But if we could do this, then we could offer so much per call basis. It's an incentive to get them out there.
Just on your department,
Well, yeah, each department,
each department.
each department.
You're asking to bring each one to 3,000?
Yeah, per month.
500,
And you'll use that, you'll use part of that money to do an incentive
Right.
to your, like, okay, I understand what you're saying.
And one of the reasons we know it works is because, and Alex can speak on this too if he wants to, but Trenton does it. They have a good turnout, good response. There's stipulations to it. You've got to go to the mandated training that we do. But in turn, that would give them an incentive to come to training, give them an incentive to go to the calls. And I don't,
What are you
I mean-
looking at per man? Have you already done your research on that? I mean,
well, we're gonna try to just follow their guidelines. It was like $25 per fire call.
yeah,
It's not a whole lot, but it's something to say, we're gonna give you something for your time, because volunteering is a hard job.
oh, it is, there's no doubt.
And I'm not throwing off on the younger generation, but I guess I will throw off, they don't volunteer no more. That's a thing of the past.
Yeah.
Us old codgers out there that's been there too long probably need to give it up, but I still enjoy helping people,
they get 17.
and I'm gonna continue.
That'd be 13.
But I wish if there's any way y'all would consider this.
We'll look into it. We can't
I know,
answer that tonight, but we
okay,
just have to,
but that's, like you
we'll just
look
have
at
to,
it,
we'll
consider.
meet, we'll talk to you next week about it. or,
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Anybody want to cut their budget or anything? Whoa. Hang with that. All right, I tell you, you got anything you want to say, any other thing, or Robin, you got anything you want to?
I do.
Becca?
Do you want to hear from some of the people?
I've asked them 3 times.
Okay, Kathy, let's call people by name.
I mean,
Kathy is up.
if they want to talk to us, now's the time to come up and
Tell us a little bit
just
what's
come up
going
and
on.
talk to us. I mean,
Good afternoon. I'm Kathy Johnston, I'm the County Director for Dade County DFAX. Just like everybody else, we've had some struggles with staffing issues and hours of operation. Thankfully, the governor did release us to be able to open our offices at least 3 days a week. There's only 50 offices in the county that is open right now 3 days a week, and Dade County was chosen to be one of those after I got on the phone and made some calls and argued that we needed that here. So we were successful, so we're open Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 9 to 3. But if anybody does need an appointment on Mondays and Fridays, we will accommodate for that. For the fiscal year of 2022, we did see a rise in some child abuse investigations. We had right at 246 cases of child abuse that we investigated. We had 16 children enter foster care, and out of 16 of those children, we had a hotel 3 of those children, which is extremely costly to the state. When a child enters a hotel, you're looking at right around $1,000 a night. We had 2 children that spent over 3.5 months in a hotel. So that adds up dearly. So we appreciate the budget that you guys allow us to have, because we use a lot of that to prevent high needs kids from coming into foster care, so we can prevent those $1,000 a night hotel stays. We only have 8 foster homes in Dade County. We have 16 relative homes, which is also a huge savings for the state and the county. We find it very important to keep kids in Dade County where they're close to their home school, they're close to their family, their friends, their churches. And we don't like to send them outside of the county because they don't know anybody when they have to go to Walker County. Or unfortunately, when you have to send them to Atlanta, to a different culture, it kind of shocks them and produces more trauma. So we use everything that you guys give us to keep kids here as much as we can, to support our foster parents, our relative placements, and to just support these kids and keep them here. So we appreciate everything you guys do for us. And you have any questions?
Well, downstairs, you foresee going back to normal operations one day? I mean,
We are looking at, this is kind of confusing. I'll explain it the best I can. We did get a memo. They are researching opening all 159 counties, but it'll be done in tiers. Each county is in different classifications. Dade County is a class 1 county, which is a smaller county. And then you go up to your class 5 and 6s, which is like Fulton, DeKalb, where we house 10 staff normally. We're down to 7. Fulton County may house 500 staff, and they're down to like 100. So they are looking at doing it in tiers. And hopefully we'll be able to keep the smaller counties at least 3 days a week. But right now they're looking at the Class A county or 1 counties being like 1 to 2 days a week.
what are you down to?
Right now we're 3.
You're at 3.
Yeah.
So hopefully they'll just let us keep it 3 days a week. But what they're proposing is your Class 1 counties will do like 1 or 2 days a week. Your Class 3, which will be like your Walker, Catoosa, would be open 2 to 3 days a week. And then like your Fulton and DeKalb would be 3 days a week. So I'm not sure on the clarification of that. Right now we are 3 days a week, 9 to 3, and then anytime with appointments. So
Even with the 3 days a week, are you still short-staffed or?
yes, we have, right now I believe we have an opening for kind of like a receptionist. We don't have anybody that sits at the front desk. So we did get approval from the state to pull a case manager to sit up there, which that does take her off of her duties of processing.
But you've got
things.
money to hire a slot. You do have that money is appropriated, right?
Yes.
For that receptionist.
So we do have that position open, but just like anybody else, it's difficult times hiring right now. It's been posted for right about a year.
And that's a different type of receptionist too. You get, the calls you get there is not like normally working in an office, you know?
Yeah, we
You
also.
get calls, you know, that.
Yeah,
you know,
sometimes we have to help out other counties, and right now we are helping other counties in social services and in the OFI. The OFI side handles food stamps and Medicaid. You know, those case managers are not only doing Dade County cases, but they're doing cases from all across the state. We have one case manager that's, she speaks multiple languages, so she has probably right about 600-700 clients that she works with, and she's got those all over the state. So it's not, we're having to help out everybody because everybody's just short-staffed. Our services side, which does foster care investigations for child abuse cases, we're helping out Gordon County, Chattooga. You know, we, if they need us to help them out, we're going to help them out if we can, because we got to make sure that all children are safe here in Georgia. So it's a challenging time right now, but we got a really good team, and they're resilient, and then they're willing to help out, which is a good thing.
Okay. Any questions? All right, thank you all. Appreciate you. Anybody else want to come up?
I have Lacey Eubanks from the library.
I just gave him a warning that I have laryngitis. There's
no.
some allergy, something going on in the air, so I'll keep this brief. Thank you guys for your continued support of the public library. It takes about $180,000 to run that branch, and out of that $180,000, we get $10,000 from the state for books, and about 6,000 come in across that desk in the form of fines and fees and copier fees and monies collected. The rest of that comes from the support from the county, tax dollars, from our Board of Education, and from the city. So we are at your mercy, and we appreciate everything you do for us to keep our doors open. We did ask for a slight increase in our budget. We are trying to do a 4% cost of living adjustment for our staff just locally here at this branch. And we have asked all three of our funding agencies for their share of that portion. So we appreciate your efforts to help us with the portion that'll help get that 4% COLA. We'll have to wait until October probably to know if we can give it, because we have 3 different fiscal years that we're working with. Actually 2. You and the Board of Education are a July fiscal year, and then the city is in January. So just a heads up, Mayor, we'll be coming to talk to you in a little bit about a slight increase to help with that 4% cost of living adjustment. Okay, thank you. That's all we can ask for. And that's all I have to say. Mindy does a great job of keeping you guys informed every month, so I don't feel like I need to add to that, but I'll answer any questions if anyone has any.
He does a good job.
Is that in
He
there?
does, doesn't he?
The money that's budgeted, when you say books, do you spend that on real books? Is that what can it be spent on, e-books or whatever? I mean, but is that hard books that you're talking about? Is budgeted?
That $10,000 is. We are part of a state consortium for the electronic books and the audio books, and a couple $1,000s out of their local budget pays to join that consortium, but we have access to thousands and thousands of books, and we're just a part of that consortium. But I will say the regional library did allocate more funds to add to that, because that is kind of the way we're going. There's still going to be a need for print books, but we're trying to, print books and electronic books, and we're just trying to kind of, to meet in the middle somewhere.
Yeah. Because the reason I ask it, I know that there's a few counties in our Northwest Georgia region that we've talked about it in the past few months, so that, this past year, the school systems, they budgeted, they took the budget out for books, real books, it was
The
actually,
print
it was
materials.
all electronics, so it was hard. I thought they were misquoted there, and I asked him.
Well,
it's hard to
electronic
believe in
books
there, but
are
it's
more
hard to believe.
expensive.
Yeah, I know.
They are, because
Yeah.
we could buy a book and it can get 100 circulations before it falls apart.
Yeah.
But if we buy an electronic book, they say you can only let 50 people circulate it, and then you don't own it anymore.
Oh, really?
And then they charge you more for it. So there's a battle with the publishers about
Didn't
that,
know that.
because when print, they'll let you check that out as many times as that book will hold up, but an electronic book is very different. So it costs more, and then it goes away, and we have to buy it again if somebody else wants to read it after so many circulations.
I never heard that, didn't know that. That's something. Okay. Any questions?
All right,
Thank you a lot. Okay. Anybody else?
Mr. Jad Johnson with the Public Defender's Office.
Good afternoon. I think I pretty much know everybody on the commission, but those of you who don't know me, I'm Jad Johnson. I'm the Circuit Public Defender for the Lookout Mountain Judicial Circuit, of course, including Dade County, also Walker, Catoosa, and Chattooga counties. We have maintained last year's operational budget. We are asking, as probably every other agency is, for a modest COLA for our people who, as Don said earlier, are all, suffering through price increases of every kind. So some of my people are making, in real dollars, making less than they did when they started, given price increases relative to their salary. So we've asked for a modest COLA, but other than that, tried to strive to make everything else no different from last year's budget.
Okay. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr.
Anybody
Kevin
else?
Ball.
Kevin's got an hour speech, so Kevin, we may leave while you're talking, but.
Mr. Attorney.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, my name's Kevin Baugh. I'm the Chief Assistant District Attorney. I work for your elected District Attorney, Chris Arndt. Chris is out of town this week teaching in Forsyth. He teaches every year, and it sort of falls with this particular meeting date. He's taught at this class for 25 years. It's a class for new prosecutors, so I'm filling in for him today. I'll try to be brief. Expenses from our office, like the Public Defender's Office, are spread among the 4 counties of the Lookout Mountain Judicial Circuit, which include, in addition to Dade, Walker, Chattooga, and Catoosa counties. Each county submits a portion of the budget based on population as a percentage as a whole. So Dade County, as being the smallest county, contributes just a little bit over 9% of our total budget. One of the changes we made earlier this year, and I guess in this previous fiscal year, is that our administrative county changed from Walker County over to Catoosa County, and that's because Catoosa County surpassed Walker in total population. So now they sort of serve as our fiscal county and our administrative county. That means the other 3 counties sort of contribute to their budget, and they handle the administrative costs for our office. Our overall budget request does reflect an increase over last year's budget, primarily based on personnel. Overall, 93% of our total expenses are personnel-related costs. We've been operating for the majority of this past year. We're short 4 assistant district attorneys. We're trying to combat that. We've been doing some recruiting on campus. We hope to have 2 new employees coming in the fall. Hopefully they'll pass the bar to help us with that. But we overall are generally still struggling, as we were last year, to compete with the Atlanta area and even surrounding circuits with our payroll. And that's the primary basis for our budget increase. We're just asking that y'all approve our budget request, which reflects what we feel we need to maintain our services to the victims in our area.
Yeah. Any questions?
Thank you.
Appreciate you. I might add, Kevin is a Dade County boy. He was born and raised right here in Dade County, and we're proud of him. Lives down at Cloverdale. Well, he's from Cloverdale. That's where he lives. He's a rising fond person. Anybody else? What'd you say, Don?
Don called your name, you're supposed to come up, obviously.
We need to hear your report since we want to make sure, this is being recorded for people to watch. And so it's a public hearing, it's good information. Just tell us what's going on and, your budget request.
Brought my PowerPoint.
I know, it's so
It
good.
don't
I
have to be a
told you you
PowerPoint,
needed
just
to
go
look
ahead.
at it.
So for our budget this year,
Tell them who you are. A lot of people don't know who our coroner
everybody,
is.
I'm Courtney Gross. I'm the coroner for Dade County. I came in 2019 after the coroner that was in stepped down, and I took over and I was elected in the next election. So I'm coming in, actually it'll be 3 years this year.
Yep.
Isn't that pretty crazy? That went by fast. Okay. So my budget this year is the same. I didn't request any additional money. A little bit about the coroner's office. Is that what you want to know? What we've been doing? Oh man, I should review my PowerPoint. So things we've been doing, we've been pretty busy updating the coroner's office. When I came in, it was a pretty big hurdle. Things were kind of disarray. We weren't electronic, and the whole system really just needed to be updated, to be honest with you. So what we did, first off, was totally get us on an electronic platform. So all the records have moved to an electronic system. We are now tracking everything through online records through the Department of Health, which has been nice, and it's really easy to work with surrounding agencies, including those in the county and those in other counties, and including the GBI and the crime lab and stuff, which is really nice. We, what else? Oh, yes.
I was going to ask you to
Thank
talk about that.
Okay, so the other things we've been working on is I'm helping track overdoses for the county, for the sheriff's office, and the types of overdoses we have. I've been working with a rep from Ms. Phillips from the Department of Health about the drug overdoses that have been occurring in our county and the drugs that we're seeing, and also working with voter registration to help keep track of voter fraud. So I keep all these spreadsheets. I'm a spreadsheet person. I keep all these spreadsheets for what district people are passing away in, and so we can make sure they come off the voter registration log so we don't see repeat offenders trying to vote when they're not really with us any longer. Doing that. Some other things I've been doing, I've been working closely with surrounding community and really a lot of Hamilton County, Walker County, and Catoosa County on developing electronic reporting systems for deaths it seemed in the past that deaths were getting missed, weren't getting caught for residents of our community. Because, you know, we don't have a hospital right here near us in Georgia for big bad injuries. So they're usually crossing over state lines into Tennessee, and that's where they're passing away. And it's very hard to capture those deaths and accurately portray those to the public as to what's going on. So I developed a reporting system with the crime lab, the MEO office, in Hamilton County. They've been very nice, and we work together and push reports back and forth so I can get an accurate count for the deaths that are occurring in our county. So that's been really helpful.
The other thing explain is the time difference that some of these different deaths take, and that's kind of where your budget also.
Yes. So over the last year, I have been tracking the amount of time it's taken us to complete a case. So it's kind of dependent. You have a variety of different types of deaths. They can be natural, they can be accidental, they can be suicide, homicide. And depending on what kind of death it is, where it occurs, and how many agencies are involved, kind of depends on how long it's going to take to get the results back for that death as far as cause of death or toxicology studies. So if we have a natural death, we can spend hours on those cases. Usually it's going to be an average for a natural death that occurs in their home residence, about 6 hours from the case open, case end, including documentation. When we have cases that are going down to the crime lab, because just like everybody else, they're experiencing the shortages in their personnel, just like, you know, the community is feeling as well. Some of those cases are taking 67 plus days, with some taking over 100 days to get results back to their loved ones. So do you want me to talk about the budget?
That was the purpose.
Not the budget, sorry, the increase on the.
Well, yeah, just the, you know, because that's kind of where everything goes
Okay.
back to, is the hours that you're spending.
So, okay, so I didn't really know where I was going, where you wanted me to go with this.
Yeah.
So kind of what you do as a coroner, and as I have 2 deputy coroners that help me run this office, we're on call 24/7, 365. I'm always going to have somebody here to cover this county at all times. If not, I have a neighboring county that is able to provide somebody to cover. So for example, like right now, I know I have 2 deputies that are out of town for the weekend, so I know I can't go anywhere. I'm here for the county to cover in case someone was to pass away. And that's fine. That's a responsibility I knew I took on, and we're good with that. But with these last few years, things have been very challenging, especially with COVID outbreak and the types of environments that we're going into. We've been involved in very hazardous hazmat situations with sick individuals, and along with that, also people weren't getting the resources they needed at home. So people didn't have patients. Decedents didn't have their families or didn't have companies checking in on them like they should have. So some of the situations were a little bit messier than what we've seen in the past due to lack of resource availability because of the COVID year. So currently what we have is to receive $175 per case. By case, I mean per decedent is what we receive right now. We've requested to increase the rate to $250 per case. And I believe that's money we can pull from within our budget without having to request more money from anybody here in the county. Because when we break down our time, ultimately, it breaks down to where the time we're on call, it averages to where you only make about 30 cents an hour, which isn't really that much for all the time and dedication we put into this office and to the community. So we would like to see an increase in our body call rate. Does that make sense to everybody? I know. I say if you don't do it, I know it doesn't always
I
make
think that's
sense.
very helpful. I mean, you know, it's just, yeah, the people. I didn't know, so
Yeah.
it was like, you know,
So I
people
know
need to
Our
know.
budget might seem like a lot, 41.8, because I know we don't give back a lot of money into the community. We're not the most profitable, but it is a position that's needed in this community, and we do a lot in this community to help these people. We've really put forth a lot of effort in stepping up where we're helping out with the family members of these loved ones. Because I guess my full-time job is a trauma nurse, so I'm used to dealing with death, decay, gruesome stuff. That's what I do. But in this situation, it was different because we were going out to these houses and it was, oh, I'm so sorry, your loved one has passed away. And it's like, you're talking to them, but then you realize it's somebody that has been married for 60-something years, and his wife has just passed away, and she has always cooked his meals and always prepared his medications and has always done these things for him. And now he's just standing there staring at you like, what do I do? So, and I realized there was a gap there in the community where resources are needed and these people need help. So I've been working with other leaders in different churches and within the community and with some of the health providers in the community to where we are checking in on these people. We are going to help them fix their meals. We are going to help them figure out how to give their own medications and how to take care of themselves. Because in a way, they're restarting their life on their own, and that's a scary journey, especially if you've had someone by your side your whole life. So we're really pushing to help in that aspect. And with that, it is lengthening our scene time. We are staying on scene a little bit longer, making sure we are providing that to these people, but I think it's worth it in the long run. But overall, like say, before I came in, I was a volunteer firefighter, and so I was a little bit familiar with call times. There were times when it would take 2+ hours to get a coroner on scene, and I'm happy to say that we've got our response time down to 30 minutes. So we're on that scene so we can get EMS back in service as quickly as possible. And that's one thing I'm really proud of with our team and our response times. I don't know. Anybody got any questions?
Any
No,
questions?
but you didn't need your PowerPoint.
Glad you didn't bring
You
it.
can leave. Oh, one more thing. On a scale of 1 to 10, how's your new wheels?
My new wheels. Oh my gosh, y'all. I got a new corner truck. It is fantastic. A 10.
And it was badly. Yeah.
Cares.
Yeah.
CARES,
It's fantastic.
CARES Act. That was something badly needed, badly, yeah.
Again, I'm Alex Case, Director of Emergency Services, which is your emergency management, E911 and EMS, and then also our IT division of our county. Very small part of a big team. I echo that what makes these departments run is our people, and that's the biggest thing that I'm hearing from my people, seeing the cost of living and our new time of stuff and things. And again, I'm a very small part of a big picture. I'm pleased to work for the county and these citizens and do what we do. Again, we are 24/7, as Courtney mentioned, between EMA and EMS and 911. None of us hardly leave between the assistant director, supervisors, deputy EMA directors, and the EMS chief. Somebody has to be around to make sure we're covered. Sometimes we have to have help, but we don't. But everything else between what we work with in our budget of things that are going up, again, some of our contracted service laborers are going up with our generators, 24/7 call, things that we just can't do without. So we really, Becca and Don really worked hard and seeing where we currently were now on things. And so our biggest thing is our people. Listen to that and seeing what the current rates are nationwide. We hope to move our folks up to a better point to help take care of themselves and their families. And keeping good people without having to retrain them is a hard thing. And it sometimes we do get that recurring door. And we have lately. We have been working one short for almost a year, 3 months. Because sometimes the money is tough, but this would help us tremendously. But one of the things that Don mentioned on the phone bill, one of our IT upgrades we done in Splost was the phone upgrade what allowed us to use a different type of service that Trenton Telephone was able to provide us through their tariffs, and we're saving quite a bit of money on our month-to-month services. We have brought the transfer station, Billy's office down at the barn and the shop, and all the transportation numbers back into here centrally, and we're using our VPN internet networks to save that money and not pay that $100-something bill per location. But you had fax lines, you had internet lines and stuff, so that's where a lot of our savings, and we've been, working with our consultants and look at what better things, and when we upgrade, what's the benefit of us to help save some funds. So that was a big deal, moving from what we had 2 PRIs to what we call SIP service now. So that's tremendous. And we also have the 4-H on that same system. So mostly all of our remote offices are coming, everything's coming back to here now. So.
Any questions?
Nope, thank you.
No, thank you.
to go? Me neither. My name's Stephen Bonico. I'm the soil conservationist for the county. I manage Farm Bill programs. You guys know, I'll turn to them. I manage Farm Bill programs on behalf of the county through a grant-funded USDA opportunity that is matched against a local nonprofit. So the county is able to save funds while providing services to our residents and individuals throughout the county, basically by leveraging administrative needs of a local nonprofit that does conservation work to the USDA conservation needs. There are probably, I want to say there's 8 counties in the state of Georgia that have a position such as mine, where it is embedded in the county. Most of the people that do the job that I do are actually federally funded in other counties. So Dade County is fairly unique in that it is able to provide services to the citizens without lag time. If a farmer calls me up and says, hey, I've got an issue, hey, I've got a concern, I can get out there and see them, schedule with them, and come back and see them and follow up on it a lot quicker than waiting on someone from the USDA to make time from somewhere else. They do a great job. They come out and support. I mean, there's some jobs that you can't be on both ends of a level shooting transit. I mean, we have a laser level now, and you can sometimes, but some jobs take 2-3 people, so they're great about getting out and supporting us. But on the day-to-day operations, we're able to get out and see, and I'm able to work with Sarah quite a bit, and reach out to partner with UGA to provide not only just agricultural producers with needs, but Sarah and I have been out to yards to talk to people about what's going on with their runoff and erosion and different things, because every little bit builds up, and it's the microeconomics of it that ultimately make a big impact in our communities. So whether it's soil, water, air, any of the natural resources, if I don't, and I don't know it all, though I've been accused of it, if I don't know how to help you, I can plug in. I see enough laughing over there, Philip. If I don't know what it is that's going on, I'll get a specialist out here from Athens or from Macon or wherever the specialist is. I tell people that I'm an interpreter. I take government language and try to put it into terms that our local individuals can understand, to cut that red tape and help people through the different processes that help them take care of the land. Because if we steward what we have, ultimately our next generation is going to have it, and we have a better community by taking care of it. So I'm just here to help out with that process and help people find the pathways to get the support they need to do the right thing. In the past, but I've been here since 2016 now, and we've grown the amount of services that we've provided to the individuals out there. Joe did a great job prior to me coming in. When he retired, there was a lot of paperwork to do, updating to do, things like using the computer. And so, stepping into big shoes, he knew a lot. He was really plugged into the community. And now at this point, I'm out there. I'm working with a lot of our agricultural producers, and not just going out and providing USDA programs anymore, but able to plug our citizens in when there's other opportunities, whether it be through nonprofit grant making, private dollars that are available through special interests that say, hey, we really care about the scenic beauty of this region. If you have people that are interested in planting shortleaf pine, we would pay for it. It's little things like that, and then knowing who has the land or the interest in shortleaf pine. I put the two together, and so we're not always just running back to the USDA and saying, Uncle Sam, can we have another nickel to invest here? It's reaching out and finding those connections to where we're leveraging the resources we have to optimize investments in our community that strengthen our entire region. So,
All right.
questions, comments?
Get a report? Appreciate it. Okay.
I'll go because I nearly could say ditto to
don't have that. So we'll stay along the same lines. But I am Sarah Dyer. I'm the County Extension Coordinator of Dade County UGA Extension and 4-H. So as a university is founded, if they are a land-grant university, there are 3 legs to that university: research, teaching, and extension. So my job as an extension agent and our department's role is to take basically all of the science, the research, the data, the facts from the university level and be that resource to the local community. So what I mean by that is my role as an agriculture and natural resource extension agent is to call up and depend on those research studies, those professors, those folks that are specialists, like Stephen referenced. We have specialists that we tug on over in Athens at University of Georgia. So we can tug on them, get the help. They'll even come visit. They will help me with anything I don't know because, again, my background's limited into one thing like livestock or animal science, but we have specialists in terms of turf grass, entomology, poultry, anything, so we can tug on them and get their help. We also are the leg that a lot of people think of as 4-H. So when I say all these different branches, Extension does have 3 branches. So agriculture and natural resources, 4-H, and family and consumer sciences. We have 2 of those present here in Dade County: Ag and Natural Resources, and 4-H. So on the 4-H side, we are providing and offering programs for our youth. Most of our programs, if we have to charge, it is just for at cost to cover any supplies or expenses out of pocket. But most of the time, we can provide a lot of free opportunities, free educational and fun opportunities for youth. We partner with the school system as well. Our 4-H educator will be going back into the schools this coming fall. Since I've mentioned all those different entities we might be involved with, we are jointly funded from Dade County government, University of Georgia, and the Board of Education in Dade County. And our budget is roughly $81,000, or about 0.6% of the budget. And it might sound small, but we are super thankful for it. You employ 3 different folks down at that department with that funding, and we reach hundreds of kids and adults. We offer adult educational agriculture programs as well, partnering with NRCS. We offer those youth events, partnering with the library, so a lot of interconnection and collaboration amongst the departments there. Any questions?
What percent of the board, what do they contribute? I don't remember as far as to your budget, the Board of Education.
What percent?
What percent?
So they don't contribute a percent to this portion.
That's our portion, I know, but
Correct.
What do they contribute to you? I mean, as far as you, is
In
it?
total, it's $3,600. So I don't know what that
I knew
percent
it
is,
wasn't
but
a
it's
whole lot
very,
high. Yeah.
very minimal.
Yeah, but it
but
is
that-
something. Okay.
And that budget was, or that funding was originally obtained in order to allow a 4-H educator to be out of the office as much as they can be in the school classrooms.
Yeah.
So we used to have a part-time administrative assistant or secretary. The $3,600 was the difference to make that full-time, so we could be out in the field as ag agents or in the classrooms as 4-H educators.
Okay. Good report. Any questions? Okay, thank you, Sarah. Hey, did they get that, the motors going today? I want to ask you before I forget it. I know they did show up. Yeah, I know they were over there, so hopefully.
I know Reeves was showing up when I was leaving to come here, so hopefully they'll get it
We'll know in
fixed.
the morning, we'll know tonight.
We ended up being able to use the library today when our ag center hit 99 degrees inside.
Yeah.
We took the kids over to the library, so we're thankful for that, and might have to depend on them till we get that fixed.
Yeah.
How much do you think your programs has grown since you started?
A lot. I would like to put together one of our monthly presentations to take 5 minutes of your time to show those kinds of figures. We're actually working on those because Extension right now at this time of year works on putting together their entire set of data and budget to the governor and to the state legislator. So when we gather up all those figures and everything's up to date, I'd like to show y'all. But we have seen a great increase in our youth coming to programs, especially recently. This summer, we have a lot planned, and we have had record turnout for our farmer and adult homeowner programs.
Yeah.
Our gardening series right now has almost 60
It'd be good to
folks
show
coming.
people. It'd be good to
Yeah.
do that
Yes.
and show, yeah. Thank you a lot.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Anybody else?
We have Sheriff Ray Cross, Major Barry Irwin, Captain Joseph Chambers, and Cindy Thurman, just as so many titles, I don't even know. So I'm going to let him introduce who he wants.
Ray's gonna handle it.
You're gonna
Ray can
handle it.
handle it.
A little tired. We've been out searching for an individual today. For those of you who don't know that live in Rising Fawn, I know Ted, our commissioner, is over that district, but we had a guy that's been breaking in homes, and this one happened a block from my house today and about a mile from Ted's house. And we've been searching for him all day. Haven't found him yet. We think he's left the area. But I've contacted DeKalb County, which has a helicopter. I've contacted GSP. They got 2 helicopters on standby for me. If we get another spotting of it, we're going to try to search for him from the air. So this guy's broke in several homes in our county, and we do know who the individual is. He's out of Birmingham, and we think he's being dropped off on the interstate, coming through yards and hitting houses. So I'm confident we're going to finally catch him at some point. We're here to talk about money, it looks like. So Ted and the commissioners, I want to thank you very much for proposing this 7% increase. Our deputies and our staff are way understaffed compared to other areas, as we all know, but I understand we only have so much of a budget to work with, but we appreciate the proposal for this pay raise that will help a lot of families that work for me. Our vehicles, we had to go up through, as Don knows, on the vehicle maintenance because we are about a year behind on vehicles, getting them. We can't get them. I mean, we've been budgeted for them and just trying to get them. So the ones we have now are getting way over mileage, and we're having a lot of repairs to do to them, as Billy knows. So that's where we're at on vehicle maintenance. Our food costs has went up for the inmates about 15% from last year. And I'd say that's probably contributed to the gas prices being up as well. So, you know, when gas goes up, everything's going up. Our medical, it goes up every year. We had a guy in the jail that was a hemophiliac that, thank goodness, to the DA's office, the probation office, and everybody else that worked with us, we got him out of jail before we had a big expense there, because that's when it almost ruined our budget when I first took over.
He hit us, yeah, back then.
Yeah.
Same person.
So that's the same person. He was still here in the county. So we have a lot of increase in when we arrest somebody if they have medical problems. Kevin, I want to thank your office for working with us and getting a lot of these people prosecuted that commit crimes, and thank you very much for that. So one of our biggest problems, and we've had several meetings with the Department of Behavioral Health, is mental health crisis we have. You know, the state has closed down our mental health facilities, and they expect the sheriffs to take that on and deal with these mental health patients. We don't know how. We don't have the facilities, we don't have the treatments or anything else. So it has burdened all sheriffs, and especially North Georgia, to deal with this problem. So that's an ongoing battle, and we've got several people incarcerated right now that we're having to deal with. So there's a lot of expense that comes with that too. So any questions from anybody on why our budget, which we have the biggest budget in the county, but come and try to run it and see. You'll see.
But you watch your dollars. I appreciate that.
I appreciate it. One thing I'm very proud of, ever since I've been sheriff, we've stayed under budget, I think, every year. I don't know this year how it's gonna, I think we're getting close, but look at what we're going through right now through the nation.
Any questions? Thank you, Ray.
Thank you, Ray.
Thank you.
Easter with the Board of Assessors.
I am Tim Easter. I'm filling in for Paula Duvall, who's not able to be here this evening. I'm chairman of the Board of Assessors. Our proposed budget, the major part of the increase is for employee salaries. As we went over this with the Board of Assessors meeting, we were very much underpaying what is normally out there. So our proposed increase, the bulk of it is for employee salaries. And as you'll notice in that increase, you have an increase in insurance and an increase in taxes. All these things go together. Board of Assessors, we just oversee the office. The office does a great job. We have a field staff that is out. If somebody's not on vacation, they're out there constantly, doing a great job, and we oversee that. And in our monthly meetings, Paula keeps us updated with what's going on in the office. Our goal in the office is to provide equitable assessment. That's all we do. People have come to us and tried to pay their taxes there. They've come to us, complained about their taxes, and but we're just there for equitable assessment. And part of that, we have to, every year, we have mandates by the state that says what we will abide by. So we are like everybody else. We have mandates that are handed down that, sometimes it's out of our hands. But anyway, any questions?
Remind everybody of the deadline to appeal.
The assessment notices went out, I believe.
27th's the deadline, though. That's
Okay, the 27th, you have 45 days after they first went out. So if you need to appeal, please do so. The office handles that. They keep us updated on the appeals also. So anyway.
Once that day passes, it's set in
Once
stone.
the 45-day window passes,
That's it.
that's it. And we have had people
Oh, yeah.
come in the
Every
next
year.
day and try to, file an appeal, and the law says 45 days. They're very clear about what the law says.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Appreciate it.
What you do.
Yeah. Thank you.
Carolyn
Who's next?
Carolyn Bradford with the juvenile court system.
I'm Carolyn Bradford, and I work for the juvenile court judge. And the juvenile court judge is for 3 counties. And so it's Chattooga, Walker, and Dade. And so what I do is I service under him for his Dade County Court. Our budget stays pretty much the same every year. And sometimes it can fluctuate and go up with depending on the number of cases that we have with juveniles and DFACS families. And sometimes it can go down and sometimes it can go up. It just depends on how many cases and things. We have seen the cases up this year, a little bit last year, and we are beginning to see some of those cases up. And I think, like Ms. Johnson said, it's been from the pandemic and some of the things that the kids have gone through and the families have gone through. So our budget basically stays pretty close to the same.
But like you said, you never know because of the caseload. You know, it's
You
just,
don't know. And sometimes it goes down, but then
yeah.
sometimes it goes up.
Yeah.
And we have to provide the services, so.
You answer to the judge, or a juvenile judge, but you're actually funded by the county, right?
Yes.
So,
Yes, I'm
so you
funded by
are a
the
county
county.
employee, yeah. Yeah.
A county employee and answer to the juvenile
Yep.
judge.
Any questions? Okay, thank you. Good report.
Mr. William Back for the economic development.
My name is William Beck. I manage our Economic Development Office for the City of Trenton and Dade County. No big changes to our budget. There's no COLAs this year, and I don't think we've ever had one, actually. So that's no change there. I will be stepping down to a part-time position as of the end of this month, and then there'll be someone else coming in to do essentially full-time for the remaining hours. I don't know that an announcement's been made about that person. But I'll be working with that person to smooth the transition, so we'll have someone who will be very capable to continue to run that. During the past 4 years since I've been here, we've about doubled the number of employees in the industrial park. It's currently something in excess of 1,100 people, so it's a big town. And sometimes people ask me, what's Trenton like? And I say, well, it's a small industrial city. And I think, well, it's not really an industrial city, but there's a lot of people who work in our manufacturing sector here. So it's been great. Wages are up significantly. A lot of you have heard me say that over the past several years. Wages are up more than 30% with most companies. So that's pretty much a national standard. Although I saw something interesting in Atlanta. We up here at McDonald's. At the McDonald's, there's a help wanted, $14.50, $15 an hour. I was in Atlanta 2 weeks ago, and there was another McDonald's, help wanted $13.50 an hour. So our wages here are high compared to a lot of places, and it's something that we need to be aware of. So hopefully that'll translate over time into people being able to afford new homes, and they certainly will participate in our economic development in our community. And the biggest industry, aside from manufacturing, has been in tourism. And we had tremendous increase all through private enterprise of people developing their homes, partly for students at the lineman school, partly people just coming to see our spectacularly beautiful community. So it's been a great pleasure to work with everyone, the Ted Rumley, our commissioners, Alex Case, all our colleagues here in government have been wonderful to work with, and I'm looking forward to easing the transition for the person who'll come in and replace me.
Thank you.
And we're gonna miss you.
Questions?
We're gonna miss you, sir.
Yeah. Well, he's not totally, he's gonna still be as a consultant, and this new person's they're gonna work together, and, so he's not gone. I mean,
Yeah, we're
he's
not gonna let him leave
still being
completely.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll keep a lower profile.
Yeah. All right, thank you, William. All
It'll
right.
just be harder to find you.
True. All right, who's next?
George Williams is here as an extension of, if you would like to say anything, from the extension of economic development. They're listed in our.
Well, he's a board member too, but he's actually, they're the Alliance for Dade.
Yes.
They work closely together.
Thanks, Don, for asking me to come up and speak. Commissioners, thank you. I'm George Williams from the Alliance for Dade. Of course, your Chamber of Commerce, you've seen me many times. We appreciate what the county does for us. It helps us achieve our goals. We are part of economic development one way or the other. The first thing we did was open the visitor center, and that is picking up business, especially in the summertime. We're getting a lot of activity there. We're looking at different things to do, like sell art. We're actually working with the high school to sell birdhouses that they produce in their crafts program there. So we do things like that. We've had job events. We had one at the high school just about a month and a half ago for our seniors. Next year, we're going to expand that to juniors and seniors so that they see the opportunities that William was talking about of all the jobs we do have and companies that we do have here in Dade County. So however you can help us with funding, certainly I think I see the excitement in having a Chamber of Commerce, having the Alliance. We get a lot of inquiries at the Alliance about starting businesses or business questions. I think before those may have gotten dropped into off the edge of the earth, and now we at least have a direction that when somebody takes a phone call, they point in the right direction. So I don't know if you have any questions for me. I know I missed the commission meeting last month, but hey, I had to go on vacation. It was time.
Everybody needs time off.
Yeah. Any questions?
Questions?
No, sir.
Appreciate what you do.
Thank you,
Okay,
George.
thank
Appreciate you.
Mr. Stacy Stevens with Maintenance and Parks and Recreation.
Hi, I'm Stacy Stevens. I'm over Park and Recreation and Buildings and Grounds. At our park this year, we've had more tournaments than we've ever had before. We've still got one more this upcoming weekend, which will be for the 7 and 8 boys district tournament. Our yard sale, well, Antique Alley this year, I guess it's what it's called. We had 35 vendors. We had people from Indiana. We had people from down below Atlanta. We had some from Alabama, several from Chattanooga, because it's a nice place to set up. There's plenty of grounds, there's restrooms, everything. We try to keep as clean as possible. There's getting more and more people just walking every day down there. People coming by using the tennis courts, the pickleball courts. The rec baseball is pretty much over except for the district, and they're going into state and then their World Series. Soccer's going to have some camps this summer that we'll be advertising. And hopefully the fall softball and some other events will be coming in. But the park's free for the public. Like I say, we keep it as clean as possible. The biggest tournament we had this year, we had 4 pickup loads and 2 of our dumpster loads of garbage. At the Antique Alley, they had 6 truckloads and 3 dumpsters full. So it produces a lot of waste, but it's just to be cleaned up every day, you know. Our restrooms, that is my pride and joy, that we keep them clean. If you see a dirty restroom, please let me know. Because that, I can't stand that myself. As far as the building and the grounds, as Ted touched on a little earlier, we've had a little rash of heating and air units going out. The main one, which controls tax assessors, and the southwest corner of the building, it's been down for a little over 2 weeks now. We got lucky, the first assessment was 16 weeks. I think that's right, isn't it, Ted? And the units are here, and you would think a brand new unit, you wouldn't have to replace a part. But the main fan drive upstairs, and Philip and I went up there yesterday, it does not work properly. So the unit will not cool itself enough, and it was freezing up. So we had to call the manufacturer, get a new fan, and they didn't have the bearings in stock, so we had to get the bearings from another place just to change this out. I know Paula and some of the ladies have been very nice. They haven't hung me up by my heels out in the trees out here yet. But we went, and with Alex's help, loaning us some portable air conditioners. I went to Lowe's, we bought some portable air conditioners, and it's fairly comfortable. Rebecca's office is out, and we've got one in there. So, and now Sarah's went out, and they're supposed to have it fixed by the end of the day. The other night, Jared didn't tell me till the next day. Jared Hogan works with me. He was here at 1:30 with Reeves trying to get that unit powered up. And Jared is a very hard worker. I said, why didn't you call me? He said, well, I had it. I didn't need to call you. So that's a great asset, a great asset. Mm-hmm. But when you have to wait on parts from the factory for a brand new unit, there's nothing we can do about that. You know, just keep the portable units running and see what happens. As far as the budget, it's very hard to budget for maintenance because what's going to break? The older these buildings get, the more maintenance we're going to have. It is up a little bit, but that's for gas, fuel, and other things. A couple of department heads, I've talked to them about some things we want to do short term, you know, quickly. Joe is one of the people. We need to start buying some fixtures, things he needs, and get them here so as we have time, we can fix it. And before the prices go up, because everything's going up. But we're just trying to stay ahead, you know, trying to keep everybody cool right now. I want to let you know, yesterday, and I shared this with Don and Ted, Don can see it, at 4:03 yesterday at the park, the heat index hit 118. It was hot. Today it only hit 107. So, you know, that's great. Maybe we got a cool front coming through. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, anybody got any questions?
Good report.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Appreciate all you do.
Carolyn Hickson, she'd like to make a few comments. I know we can't ever get Lawana to do this, but.
I thought Carolyn was just in here watching that voting machine, make sure we didn't touch
I
it.
told her this was only going to be about a 20-minute
Looking at it a lot, I thought, ooh, yeah.
Got 3 minutes to go. She's with the Board of Elections.
Carolyn Hickson, Board of Elections. And there's no need me to talk much about expenses because they're kind of like everybody else. They come and they go. And when the state charges you 13 cents for each sheet of ballot paper that you use, you just kind of go along with it and do what you have to do. But this is what I'm going to use my little bit of time to do. I am in charge of staffing precincts, so I'm looking for poll workers, and I'm making a list. I've got your name on it. I told Brian Kemp, he came up here one day when he was Secretary of State, and I said, if it weren't for the little old gray-headed people in America, there would be no elections. And you tell me who runs the polls whenever you go. So you just make sure I'm looking for your name to show up because we're going to have a big election November the 8th, and I'll need lots of poll workers. I had to scrape by. As a matter of fact, I'm going to serve as a poll worker for this election next Tuesday, June the 21st. Everybody went on vacation. In training, I said, nobody goes on vacation. Anyhow. So anyhow, just thank you so much for everything. Thank you for the support. It's a pleasure to work for Dade County and in Dade County and with the election department. It's considered a service on my part and the other people's part there. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And we've saved the best for last, and that would be Mr. Billy Massengale with the roads. And public Works Director.
Billy didn't know he was gonna have to talk
But he
tonight.
took a shower and everything,
Alex,
so we
you're
need
on
him to make a report.
Wore his good hat.
Billy Nightingale, with the Public Works Director. It consists of the transfer station, our recycling, our vehicle maintenance shop, and the road department. Like Ray talking about a while ago, cars, our budget is not up much on any of them other than what little bit of raises the guys are getting. Parts, getting where we can't get parts. We can't get oil, we can't get grease, we can't get filters. I don't know where we're going. I mean, we're doing the best we can, but if you can't get it, you can't get it. Staying busy, everybody talk about hot. We're working in oversized mobile home down there. Our temperature today is 100 degrees in the shop, no air. The boys are making it, which we know is hot. The transfer station, garbage is up, the price is going up, get rid of it. I mean, I don't know what the answer is gonna be on that, which, if you're involved with that, it's costing us more to get rid of it. We're probably the only county that I'm aware of in Georgia, especially in northwest Georgia, that does not charge you to bring your household garbage down. It's free. We're the only county that does that. And also, we're talking about the road, seems like every time we start to get ahead, we have something happen. We had some tiles that wash holes come in them on Cooley Road. We're gonna be replacing those. It seems like we have a flood, tornadoes, or there's something bad every time we get our head up. We behind. It's nothing we can do about it. For the past 2 or 3 years, we've been down to as little as 3, sometimes 2 employees a day during the COVID. We got down, nobody wants to work. I don't know where the people went that wants to work, but nobody wants to work. And then you get down to 4 employees, and then you get 1 or 2 out with COVID, you get further behind. We're behind, we're trying to make some headway, but, and paving, which I know everybody wants the road paved. Used to, we could go out and pave just about any road in the county for about $100,000 a mile. Philip, you probably don't be mad at me if I told you last year it cost you $100,000 to pave the road. I don't know if I don't know, the material only to pave 1 mile will cost over $124,000. Up $20,000 since last year. And if you ask me right now what it's gonna cost, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know. Every time I call to get a price, asphalt, $2 a ton, $2 a ton, just keep going up. The tire, they won't even price it to me right now. They don't know what it's gonna be when we go get it. I mean, keep going up. I mean, what can you do on it? And we're doing the best we can. And if I look like I've been out all night, I was out last night with up on, well, your end up on Cooley Road. We've been putting out some pugs today for the
South Dade.
storm shelter down at South Dade. Been in a motor grader all day with a glass cab and no air, but it didn't come with air. It's been hot. And can't none of this what we do without our employees. And a lot of people don't realize that we got the most dangerous job then above the law. Law ranks like 24 in the top dangerous job in the United States. If it's not changed, we rank 18. We're more likely to get killed on the road by a text or whatever reason, somebody on the phone, than anybody around. But without our employees, we can't do nothing. They're getting a decent raise. I wish that we could have more. Like I say, we're out today don't ask for much, but without employees, we can't do nothing. And it's hot. Like I said, we've all been outside today and we don't got air. Well, the road, you ought to stand on the road temperature today is about 135 to 137 degrees if you want to shoot it. You stand out on that all day working, flagging traffic, it's tough. But has anybody got any questions or?
No, we'll be.
Everything good. Be nice to have more money for the boys. We behind compared to other ones, but it's about a budget. Other than that, I mean, we don't do what we do with the money we get. We try to watch the money. It's expensive. It's getting worse. I don't know where it's gonna stop. I wish I did. Be a good time to buy stock in some of this stuff. That's just like we built $1 million wall up here on County Road 6. The state did one back in, what was it, late 70s, early 80s going up?
82, 81.
I think they spent $6.2 million to build a wall they built. We built more wall than they did for $5 million cheaper. I mean, the guys.
We did it in a house, you know, we did it.
Done it in house.
We did it right. Yeah.
Most people, it ain't me, it's the guys, everybody working together. I mean, we saved a lot of money, but like concrete, we bought it up on that job, $115, and I showed Ted daily. Right now, I think last it's at what, $150?
That's just
$115
standard
to
mix.
$150 a yard. That's a lot of money. We poured 1,400 yards up there. I don't know what the answer is, folks. Time don't get worse, I'm afraid. But anybody got any questions?
Good report. Appreciate it. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you, Billy.
So that's it, and I know this has taken a little bit of time tonight, but earlier in the meeting, it appeared like we don't care, we don't want to hear. That was the purpose of tonight's meeting, is to hear what your county leaders are doing to help promote services, pay employees as best we can. Of course, we would have loved to give $5,000 raise like the state, but we didn't feel like that was the right time. And again, you know, if we can find more room in it, we would try to go for 10%. I mean, that's unprecedented to ask for that kind of increase. We had 7% increase in inflation last year. We've got, about 8.5% right now. It could still go up. We've still got the rest of the year to go up. So as we go buy milk and buy bread and whatever, it's expensive. We've got employees that have to pay rent. Rent's gone through the roof. Believe me, I understand at home, everybody at home, it's tough. But we are trying to do the best we can. The last 3 years, as Billy said, it's been tough. We've had some employees that couldn't come to work. We've lost some employees. Wonderful. One of our commissioners, Alan Bradford. We lost Alan Bradford. We didn't lose him. He's in heaven. We know where he is. But bottom line is, we miss him. And we've had other employees that's just, been devastated by COVID. It's been hard. But we've all pulled together, and we're all a team, and we do the best we can. And so I might have got a little huffy, and I apologize earlier if I got answered Mr. A little short. But I don't mean anything by it. But I just, I take this to heart. We have been working, and Rebecca has done an absolutely wonderful job, and I give her a lot of credit. She may work at 3 o'clock in the morning on this. I'll get a text the next morning or a new budget. And it's hard to put a budget out. We had changes yesterday to the budget, okay? So if we put a budget out 2 weeks ago, I promise you we would be on version 17 right now. And then you have 17 versions floating around the community. It's just not a good way to do business.
Nope.
So we try to pull everybody here, hear the proposals, and I think if anyone's listening online tonight, and you can go back and watch this live or in the next few days, it's been a good information for the commissioners and for the public to let us all know who we are. Put a face with a name, and sometimes we just hear people on the phone and make reports for potholes or storm damage or whatever it may be. But we appreciate the commissioners, and we submit this budget to you for your consideration a week from tonight at 5 p.m. on next Thursday.
Yeah. Anybody else got anything else to say?
Well, I'd like to add to that too, you know, to the public especially, this is a great opportunity for all of these people in this room. If you are here or answer questions, you know, send questions through if you can't come. But, you know, this meeting and next meeting that's why we do it.
Yeah.
I thought I wasn't gonna do this, but I was. But you know, most of us here are taxpayers just as well.
Yes.
As anybody that comes in and asks us questions. And Stacy mentioned it, and Billy's mentioned it. Hey, I called this so-and-so. Hey, I called so-and-so. And Don just said it. We work so well together with every department head as managers under y'all to make things work for our public. And we treat this like it's our money, which it is. We're responsible to you and these taxpayers, which we're taxpayers too, if we do something wrong. And we take pride in doing what we do for our public and for our county and do what we do. And it does take to heart when we feel like there's nothing we have done wrong. This county's never done wrong. We're audited. We're audited by the Department of Revenue every year. And the things that happen, you know, that's kind of takes to heart to me a little bit. And when you work hard to stay under budget and you keep your people, again, I'm a small part of a huge team of this Dade County. Don't matter who's the director, who's what, but we work together. We pull together to get what's done for every department of this county. And so I echo what Don says. We're taxpayers too. We're being the best steward of the money that is given to us to do the jobs, provide the service for our taxpayers.
But you're going to always have a few people that want to question, you know, and that's good. You got them in every county, and that's okay. But we do the best we can with what we've got, you know, and we try to do it up front. You know, we're audited, like you said, we don't hide anything.
Yeah, right.
We are audited, you know, it's just, you know, so, but you've got those people that are doubt.
Back in our pockets, we're not making, you know, we make a living. We're trying to make a living better for these employees because, again, the small part of this team is all of us working together.
Yeah.
You know, we do have to explain a lot. It takes a lot of education to understand. It's on my 18th year here and still learning every day as laws change every time. We see that, and we have to adjust and go with it. And times are so much different and harder for us now to try to comply with this. Then the cost, we know that. We're working hard to hopefully where we're going to be.
Thank you, Alex.
You got anything, Melissa? Anything else?
No, I
Robert?
just stress that too. I just, you know, I've been in this a short time, and you know that just since I've been in, laws change, and you have to follow that, and then you have to do this, and then once you get this going, you have to change it because the law changes, and I feel like everybody works really hard to make it work.
Robert, you got anything you want
Well,
to end with?
I think one of the bigger things that's happened here tonight, of course, it is for public hearing, and there's very little public here except the employees of the county. But a lot of times they don't realize who people are and what they do. But you take what the sheriff said, and he mentioned the hemophiliac. He don't know who is going to break the law. But once they do break the law and they're incarcerated, you have perhaps your budget just shot in some places. We've got air conditioners that are popping like old Pontiac tires. They're about every day, you've heard that. And can't get the parts to fix them, not because we're not trying, but because it's just the day we're living in right now. I've been here, this is my 14th year, and I echo everything that's been said, but I do know that we've never had to budget on $4 and something a gallon gasoline. And we had to budget for those people out there, and I know you know this, we had to budget as if it's going to stay that or get higher. Our prayer is and hopes for America that it goes back down. When the sheriff someone's incarcerated, the grocery bill goes up. But we do feed them in-house now, and they're saving a lot of money. So I am glad that you guys got Courtney with the coroner's office. Nobody knows half of what you talked about that you do. And the fact that there's cases that go on because of backlogs and all the things that happen. And you can't budget for everything. You just have to pray you budgeted enough. And I will say this about every constitutional officer, about every statutory officer we have, which is our coroner and our magistrate, there is no one that wastes one penny. And about every month, Don reads our financial report and we're under budget. And I thank God that I'm living in Dade County and not in a lot of places that I hear about all the time with the things that are going on. So I wish we could give higher raises. And I am glad we're able to give, that Don and Rebecca's worked so hard on this to be able to give what we have, because it is the larger percentage, I think, that I've seen in the 14 years that I've been here. So thank you for all you've done. I think it's been an education as people watch that and realize, I didn't think about that. I didn't think about the can't get new cars. I didn't think about that you have to buy that person's health when you incarcerate them. You have to feed them. You have to do it. I think we know it in the back of our mind, but it just don't settle sometimes in the front of our mind that's where we're having to spend tax dollars. And I want to echo just one more thing, get off the horse here, is Alex mentioned the audit. We have to do that every year. If we didn't have to do it, we could give a few good raises just out of what we have to pay an auditing firm. So somebody thinks we're hiding something out there. It is, I think I go to a lot of meetings. We are as transparent or more transparent and more giving of information than any county that I know of. I'm not saying there's not some that don't do better, but we give information out the yin-yang when somebody asks for it, but it needs to be on a timely basis, going back to what Don said, that you don't have 15 things floating around out there, and then somebody come out, well, the one I got said $200, and y'all got $225. Well, you know what? Things changed in that day, in that hour, things changed. I'm off of it. Go back. Go ahead, where you been.
Bill, if you got anything you want to end with?
No, but for the public, you got your household budget that you budget for. Well, we got 48 different departments that we have to speculate on what everything's going to be. So that's what makes this hard, just like fuel costs. I know the sheriff's department, they offset some of their fuel costs by the amount of how much their deputies actually patrol. So we sit up here and we got to look a year ahead and say, okay, gas is going to be this much and we're going to do this, but not just one department. We got 48 of them. That's what makes this harder than just your normal household budget or any other budget. For me, like even in a business, I've got my business and I run that. Well, now I've got to do it 48 times. So that's all I have to say on setting this budget.
Can I say something?
Yes.
I got a few more points. We talked about, somebody talked about McDonald's a while ago. I think somebody starting out at 14 something an hour. Our deputies are making just a little bit more than that, and I appreciate the raises we're talking about very much. But when you got somebody working at McDonald's, you got somebody out here riding in the patrol car, putting their life on the line with domestic calls or whatever, you kind of got to weigh what you're making. And our deputies really love what they're doing. And when you get one that's trained like we have, and we keep them a while and they learn the roads and how quick the response time is, it means a lot to them when they get a little bit of an increase, and we appreciate that very much. But while ago I said something I said, since I've been sheriff, I've been under budget. I didn't want to take all that credit, because I want to give some of that to Don and Rebecca. They helped with this budget too. And without them, I couldn't keep that budget down without their knowledge of how to budget the money and stuff. We try to keep our expenses down by major, and these folks, Joe and Cindy sitting here, they do a fantastic job of helping keeping this budget low and not going over budget. But I just want to thank Don and Rebecca very much for all they do.
Amen.
Lamar, you want to?
Well, I'd like to just say thank you to everybody, because, we all know what inflation's doing to our home, and we know what it's doing to everybody. When we go for training, you wouldn't believe the horror stories we hear from other counties about trying to keep their sheriff in control, their judicial system not helping them, and all the support services we got. We do a lot for our kids. It's a big responsibility, like Philip said, 46 departments. Well, I think, what was it, 140 full-time employees? They got families, and they got kids, and they got to eat. They got to be taken care of. So it's It's heartfelt. I mean, if you raise taxes a little bit, people fill this room up. But that's what you took the job for or got elected for. And I'm proud that I got elected to be a part of what I've been calling Team Dade County. Because this is a special place. This is my home. Like Alex said, you know, this is where I'm gonna live and die. So, wouldn't want to live nowhere else. And appreciate what everybody's done, because it's a team effort. Everybody's standing up. And I'll say one more thing about Billy, some of Billy's men, because I sat in on Billy's budget, not just the road crew, but down at the transfer station. Some of them were making as low as $13.68 an hour. And McDonald's is advertising $14.50 over here starting out, flipping hamburgers. They're in the heat, the cold, out all times for the night. So and everybody, Stacy, he's right. He's got the same crew down at the ball fields working in the heat. So, and he does, you keep an excellent part down there. I mean, I just can't say enough good about everybody, and it makes me proud that I was elected to help serve and be a part of this team.
Okay. Appreciate everyone being here. I think it's been a very informative meeting, and I think it, I said this at first, when we first started, I couldn't be more proud of y'all, and people need to pat you on the back out, when they're out, and they won't do that, but we do get good outweighs the bad, but because it's, it's a good county to live in. I mean, it's not because we're commissioners either, but like Lamar said, and I think Robert touched on it, I attend my regional meetings and all, and there's a lot of counties, and I don't mean big counties our size, that would really give their eye teeth right now to be in the shape that we're in and have the employees and the leadership. I'm talking about y'all, but I'm saying that we have here. So appreciate y'all being here tonight, and we'll go ahead and we'll end this public hearing. Thank you all.
Thank you.